Hey everyone, welcome back to the garden. It is Saturday, August 2nd, and it's actually beautiful. This is the nicest day we've had in a long time. We can actually come outside and not feel like we're dying from heat stroke. So we have a bunch of things we want to get done today, just a bunch of random things actually. We're not going to show all of them. We do want to get some transplanting and planting done though, so we will take you along for that. And I want to show you something that we bought to finish up the mini berm. So come garden with us today and let's get some things planted. So we have a sale going on at work at the moment, and I could not resist buying that beautiful little quick fire hydrangea. So it's really big and full. This is a 4-gallon container, and I think we've probably had these on the lot at the garden center for probably a couple of years. So it's gotten to really fill in and look almost as full grown, if not fully full grown, as the others. And it's going to replace these blue zinger grasses. I still have to find a place for these. I think if we put them someplace in a little bit more shade, they won't need the consistent moisture. So let's take a look. We just planted this last week and it's already blooming. These true passion roses just glow. I love it. So that's one of the things we're going to get done. And I feel like maybe if we can get the little quick fire in, I mean, it shouldn't take that long. I think it's going to take longer to find a place for the blue zinger grasses than it's going to take to actually get the plant planted. Maybe we will get our arbor out and put it together and place it here between these two beds. And one more thing I want to get done today is that I bought home 2 urns. They're the Australian sword ferns that I planted up in our white urns. I'm looking at them right now on our top retaining wall bed. But I bought 2 more for our concrete urns out front. Believe it or not, just a few weeks ago, we got rid of the pansies. At one point I thought, it's so late in the season, I'm not going to fill the urns now, but we do have quite a few of those ferns left at work. So I bought a couple home a couple weeks ago. They've been living in the garage because it's just too hot and brutal out here for them. In the garden center, we have them in a lot of shade. And I think we're going to take a couple of the caladiums for each urn that we have in our Vigo elevated garden bed, which I also was just not going to plant in the landscape this year. They seem quite happy in the elevated bed. It's getting late in the season now. It's August 2nd. I really don't want to plant. I think there's like maybe 15, 20 caladiums in there. I don't want to plant them now and then have to pull them out in 2 months. But we will pull a few out of the bed and put them in those urns. So we'll take you along for that. I thought there was a couple of other things. We just have some maintenance to do. And, you know, maintenance doesn't always translate into exciting videos. So I'll decide later whether or not we show any of that. But since it is a nice day, we finally want to get out and tackle that. I knew there was a couple more plants that I bought that I wanted to show you guys that we're going to get planted today. So I'm going to turn you around, talk about those too. So here we have another Ilex shamrock. It's an Ilex glabra. We had 3 we planted here on the berm of our front rain garden last year. And just recently we pulled out a coneflower and a black-eyed Susan from here. You can see we have plenty more. The black-eyed Susan actually looked sick, like almost it had aster yellows. The coneflower looked like it had aerified mites. So we pulled them out several weeks ago, and it left an open space there, which I think the Ilex glabra will do fine. It'll be a nice, another winter interest addition. Again, this is a shamrock Ilex, and this is from Overdress, and I'll tell you what, he really puts out an outstanding product. It's a native shrub, can handle moisture, 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, full sun to light shade. I find they do best in full sun, hardy down to zone 5. So that's going to go there. And then, if you remember, I bought late last year a pop star hydrangea. It is really, really struggling, so I bought another one to replace it. We're not going to replace the pop star. It's going to stay where it is. Hopefully next year it recovers even more, but I'll show you where this is going to go. Yeah, so if you guys remember, late last year, like right around Thanksgiving, we received 2 encore azaleas and the pop star hydrangea. I ordered them online, and then we went into a really cold spell that we never came out of. They all shocked really, really badly because they came from Alabama. We had a really harsh winter here, the harshest I think in like 25 years. So like I said, they shocked. They all started to come back in the spring. Unfortunately, the encore azaleas did not make it. So we just pulled those out a few weeks ago. They started to come back, but then they died back again and never kind of came out of that. Popstar is still struggling, but it's still alive. So that's why I bought I'm not going to replace the encore azaleas, but I did want to replace the Popstar. So I will show you where we're going to put that. So up here on our top retaining wall bed, behind it, we have a wee bit grumpy here that we moved from our furthest bed down on our property last year because it was hit with plant growth regulator. It has recovered beautifully up here. We can now transplant it. I don't think it's not going to bloom this year, but I think it's recovered enough that we can move it, and that's where we're going to put the Popstar. If I can get back here, I'll show you beyond the Invincible lace here. That's the Popstar from last year. So again, it's recovering. It's just obviously not going to do anything this year. It's supposed to be one of the cold hardiest hydrangeas on the market, and I believe it is. It's just, again, it came from Alabama. It came here and we were warm and then got really cold overnight and just never came out of it until about April. So that's kind of why it did what it did. Died really hard, but it did come back. So I feel like by next year, hopefully, I mean, it's already put on a little bit more growth in the last few weeks since we had some rain, and we did water it during that dry spell. So hopefully next year it'll be fine, and we can move it probably just on the other side of that bed. But that's where we're going to put the other Popstar in place of the wee bit grumpy. That wee bit grumpy we will transplant back down to the bed underneath our spruce tree at the bottom of our property. I'm just going to pan around from the Anna's Magic Ball we just planted. The edge of the rain garden, we have the blue mist flower, black-eyed Susans. We have the Sugar Shack button bushes in here, and you can see they're beautiful red seed heads. Beautiful Joe Pye weed, coneflowers, some more black-eyed Susan, and there is the latest addition, the Ilex glabra shamrock, which I feel like actually is a needed bit of evergreen here, because if you can imagine in the winter, everything in this rain garden is going to die back. So the only thing evergreen here will be the shamrocks. And if we didn't have this one here, then you would have to get all the way to here before you got an evergreen. So now, if I back up a little bit, I feel like one was necessary here. I also think we could use another one, to be quite honest with you, right here where this blue mist flower is, because that blue mist flower is so darn aggressive. It is such an aggressive spreader. And I'm just coming around here real quick because I actually feel like we need another evergreen here, but a tall one. I think while the sale is on at work, I'm actually going to get another, these beautiful totem poles. I'm going to get another Thea Thin Man. I walk backwards. I feel like we could use another Thea Thin Man right here along the berm, just so that when I'm panning around from the other direction, I'm not borrowing a view, so to speak. So that might be another video. Okay, so I think we landed on up here for the blue zinger grasses. We're going to weave them throughout. You can see we have 2 white buckets here. There's 5 of them. So 2 there and 3 here. Just have to be careful. I think there's bulbs all throughout here. So that's where the blue zingers are going to end up. And I think it'll look nice because they can be evergreen. Don't have a heck of a lot of evergreen interest up here other than the two gray owl junipers we planted this spring. And they're tiny yet, so yeah, I think it'll look nice up here. All right, so my husband's got the 3 holes dug for the ones over here, and then there are 2 more holes over here. It's quite dry up here, despite the fact that we got some torrential rain the other day. It just proves how dry it is up here. We were supposed to run irrigation, but we just don't have enough well pressure for running irrigation far from the house. So worst comes to worst, we'll just have to run sprinklers up here until these establish. All right, so let's go get them. These things are beasts. All right, guys, let's go see how the blue zinger grasses turned out. We actually ended up getting about 12. We did go up on the hump that I thought we weren't going to be able to because it's going to be too dry. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. My husband is still digging up there, but we divided them. These ones we left more natural. Did cut some of the brown off. So these have more of their natural look. Some of the ones up here we cut back quite hard because they had just a lot of brown in them. But you can see how they're all going to just come down here. Like I had talked about in my last video, I still think it's going to be quite dry up here. So I'm going to, again, run a sprinkler until they get established. Especially because I don't think we're supposed to get much rain in the next week. And it is going to be sunny. It's not going to be hot like it was, but still. So I think once some of them get their little swoop back, their little droopy form, it's going to look really pretty up here. And hopefully it does suppress some of the ground elder in particular that we have growing up here. Okay, so we got all of the blue zinger grasses out. We got some dirt put in here to fill in the holes. I placed the hydrangea in the spot where I think it's going to go. Here we are looking at it from the back. Please don't mind our dead grass. It looks horrible again this year. And we do have an arbor that we're going to be placing here between the 2 hydrangeas on either side of that little pathway. You can see the hydrangea is already nice and big, almost as big as the other one. We definitely have room here for some low scape mounds. But before we talk about those, let's head up and see where we're going to place the pop star hydrangea. That is a little bit of a change of plan. I'm a little bit worried about moving the wee bit grumpy since it is still recovering this year, and the spruce tree at the bottom of our property, it's such dry conditions under there. I'm kind of worried, having second thoughts about moving the wee bit grumpy. So I feel like we're going to put the pop star here. We have an empty space here for whatever reason. I don't know if there was something here before and it died. We used to have a Caryopteris, but that was where this agapanthus is. So as it happens, we have an empty space here, and I think the pop star will fill in this spot nicely. So we're going to work on first getting the hydrangea in, the little quick fire hydrangea. Here's the wee bit grumpy. That's just going to stay here, and then we will come up and finish up with the pop star. So there is the little quick fire in the ground. We will give you a final shot once we get the arbor up, and we're actually going to mulch because those blue zinger grasses were quite dense. So there really wasn't much mulch needed under them, but obviously the quick fire is more open, so we definitely need some mulch. Let's just take a look. The poor little Invincible wee white we took from its happy spot up in full shade has crisped up a little bit. We had it under an umbrella all week. It'll be fine. It's getting plenty of moisture. It just doesn't like the full sun. It's been quite a shock for it, but I think it'll be okay. This one's doing fine, and the two roses are looking really nice. This one is blooming. I don't know if you saw that in any of the clips when we were planting the little quickfire, but it was not blooming when we planted it. So the next thing we're going to do is get the Popstar hydrangea in the ground. Take a look at the beautiful summerific perfect storm. There's really only room for one of us in here. I placed the hydrangea where I think it needs to go. Since my husband's he's going to use the auger, he'll be doing most of this. So I'll just film here. So there is the Popstar in its new home. Hopefully it stays blue. We have trouble getting things to bloom blue in our yard, even though I feel like we have acidic soil. But anyway, it looks really pretty with the pink coneflower there. And again, this is a really, really, really cold hardy, compact mounded, reblooming hydrangea. It's Endless Summer Popstar hardy, I think down to zone 2 or 3, 18 to 36 inches tall and wide. And again, a rebloomer. So I think it fills in the space nicely here. Okay, the last thing we need to do is the arbor. That's about all I'm going to film, guys, because as you can imagine, getting these pieces to line up and their holes and all that stuff to line up with the screws was not easy. Okay, guys, clearly it is the next day. I have a different shirt on because I've been to work. We did not want to finish up the video until we bought some mulch. So I brought some mulch home from work because I feel like the mini berm needed it. Didn't look complete without it. And we've also got the arbor up. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what that looks like. So there is the finished project, complete with little quickfire, fresh mulch, and a new arbor, which I feel like I want something hanging from it. I don't know if I necessarily want string lights, although, you know, that's certainly an option, but they would have to be solar, and I just don't think they work as well. Although I do feel like anything we put on here would have to be solar, but I feel like it would look kind of neat with, I don't know if you've seen those folding willow hanging lights. Like, I think you're supposed to hang them from like tree branches, but I think one of those would look neat up there. Anyway, I'll think about that for a while and decide what I want to put up here. And again, we did not film us putting the whole thing together because, as you can imagine, it was easy up until the arch. Those pieces were very hard to line up. But anyway, I love it. Again, it's been sitting in the basement. I think I ordered this in 2019. That's how long it took us to get this up. But I really like it. So as always, guys, thank you for coming along for this mini berm makeover and our other plantings. I did not bother showing you planting the ferns in the urns out front because if you can see back there, the caladiums are just way too big. There's no way we were going to fit ferns and caladiums in those urns. I always underestimate the size of those urns. Hopefully in the fall, I can find some annuals to put around the ferns to dress them up a little bit. I mean, they look fine, but they do need something else. Anyway, again, thank you for coming along. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.